All right, so we've gotten some mod proposals for modding Quake. We got other proposals for not modding Quake, and I'm not going to look at those today because today we're going to be talking more about modding Quake. And I'll just take it from the beginning, assuming you've never written a Quake mod before. You've downloaded the link to the download for the Quake starter pack, and you've unzipped it, and you'll get something that looks like this. I'll put the link to the Quake starter pack in the description below if you want. So inside of the source directory, your directory might be in a different directory. But basically, you're going to find a directory that looks like this that has a bunch of .qc files in it. QC is the programming language called QuakeC for modding Quake. And do you have to know it to mod it? No, you don't. You can usually find something in the source code already that's similar to what you're trying to do, or hopefully you're just modifying something simple like the speed of a rocket or something like that, and then you have to find the place in the code where the rocket has a speed, and then you can tweak it. So let's maybe start with that. Let's try that, and let me run the game first so you can kind of see what it looks like without. So there is a program called server.bat, or on yours it might say like run server. Basically, it's a little shortcut, and it will launch the server, and you can see that the game is running. What map is it on? Well 6, okay. And then I can run the client here, and if you give me a second, I'm gonna have to move it over to the other window. There we go. Okay, it's all smushied. Can I make it bigger? It's adamantly refusing to take up the whole screen. Okay, that is okay, whatever. So team 1, soldier. Okay, 1002. Okay. So if we have a rocket, we're going to shoot it down this way. 1002, 1003. Okay. So that's how long it takes a rocket to transit the corridor there. Okay. So now we're going to show you guys how to mod that and see if we can figure out where that one number is found. Okay. So I'm going to right click on the source directory. Again, your name might be a little bit different in the starter pack because I've got different versions of it going back to the 90s. Right click, and I'm going to choose open with VS Code. Okay. And VS Code is going to open up eventually on a different monitor. Okay, pull it over here. And then on the left-hand side here, you can see all the different .qc files that have all the code for Quake and the Team Fortress mod in it. And if I want to search for something, I can click on the little magnifying glass here. And I can search for something like, I don't know, a rocket launcher or something like that. And it'll show every place where the word rocket launcher appears in all of the source files. So if you give too many hits, then you have to kind of like refine your search a little bit. But I'm going to just scroll around and sentry guns, not it. Menu, weapons, rocket launcher selected. Okay. This looks promising here. Okay. So if self.current weapon equals weapon rocket launcher with armor stripping, dataless touch. And fire dataless, fire Mauser. Let's see here. Weapon frame. So fire dataless, which is one of the kinds of rocket launchers, right? And one of the reasons why you have to play the game is so you know this kind of stuff. So there will be extra credit for you guys playing this game on Sunday. Sunday is Rocktober. Rocktober is the day of the year when we have the most people playing Custom Team Fortress, my old mod that I made back in the 90s. People still play it today. So here is the information if you guys want to play in a Rocktober. You will be offered extra credit for it. It is from 4 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this has all the information for how you can connect to it and register and stuff like that. So I'll post the link of that on to Discord for you. Okay. So we're trying to find the place where we are creating a rocket. This is damage. So this is the code that would be when it touches something. So let's Control-Shift-F that. Control-Shift-F is a find in files. And we can see right weapons.qc.back. We don't need you. That's a backup file. So let's delete you. Yep. Now we're only going to get one result. And right here looks like the place we're looking for. So here are all the different kinds of rockets we can shoot. So there's a function called make rocket. And you didn't know that before, but you don't now. And when you're modifying, it's almost like a scavenger hunt. Okay. So when you're trying to make a change to existing source code, the hardest thing is like just identifying where in the code the thing you're trying to change is. And so inside of VS Code, Control-Shift-F is your friend. It will search across all the files. And as long as you know the name of the thing you're searching for, which is why it's so important to play the game, so you know that this thing is called the holy hand grenade or something, then you can Control-Shift-F holy hand grenade, and it'll show you everywhere within the code that term appears. And so Daedalus is one of the kinds of rocket launchers in the game, because I knew that when I saw that show up, I'm like, okay, that'll help me find the other rockets. And so I didn't know before that the function to spawn a rocket was called make rocket man. I knew, but like we're pretending here, right? And so right here we've got a variable called mySpeed. Okay, well it's not initialized to something yet, so let's see if we can find where mySpeed appears down here, and that's probably going to be the speed of the rocket, right? So I'm going to search for mySpeed, and right there we can see if we are shooting a. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. Zoom in. No. Appearance. I'll zoom in a little bit like that. Okay. That's where I was. Okay. So you can see here that if the weapon I'm shooting is the Daedalus rocket launcher, it's going to create a particle, a projectile at a speed of 500. If I'm shooting the incendiary weapon, the Pyro's version of the rocket launcher, it travels at a speed of 650. If I'm shooting the shotgun, the shotgun normally doesn't shoot rockets, but there is a purchasing option in Custom Team Fortress where you can add essentially grenades coming out of the shotgun. Those travel at 1600, and the standard rocket launcher travels at 900. Okay, so that was the spot I was looking for. And yes, McKinney, that is the process you go through. So this is a skill. It's an actual, honest goodness skill that will help you, even if you're not going to do game development, if you are just a programmer and you go to work for a new company and they're like, hey, we need you to find this thing and change it. And there's 500 text files in there, and you're just like, I don't know where anything is, like, where is it? And you have to like orient yourself. You have to like be like, okay, there's all these different files. Where is the thing I'm looking for in the file? It's a skill that you need to develop, and modding is a great way of developing that skill. Okay, because you have to hunt through infinite files essentially to find that spot right there. That's the number we're looking for, 900. So I will just up that to, I don't know, 2000. Save. Now let me show you how to compile it. Come back into here, into the folder that has the source code in it. There is something called make.bat. Double click that. And it compiled. You didn't see it because the thing it's compiling too quickly. But I believe it worked. It's literally flickering across the screen. So if that worked correctly inside of the Fortress directory, there will be a file called Prozac. That should have updated, so it didn't. That did not update. This thing is auto closing, so I can't see if it was actually successful or not. I wonder if I can. You have to go to the command line. Pausing 1 second and resuming a couple seconds later. So yeah, it's compiling fine, but then it can't find the path specified. I see. Okay, so that's our problem there. Okay, so if I then make.bat, no, we don't have DOS command prompt, so terrible. So let's right click and edit, make.bat in Notepad, and that's why I moved the directory. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So our directory is now so Prozac dot dat. After it compiles, let's echo this for a second. All right, make. So it's been compiled. It's creating it somewhere. The paths are all screwed up because I actually just moved the folders around. So, let's see, let's go up a level maybe. We can go up a level. Thank you. There it is. Okay. So when you compile it, it puts it in the directory above the source code directory. Okay. There you go. Okay. So you might have to update this thing here. So we're going to move, and the path is now C Quake source. Oh, that's easy enough to. I think it's actually just going to be C Quake Fortress. C Quake Fortress. Yes, there we go. Okay, that's all I had to do. The paths had to be updated. And so make, and there we go. Now the file's been moved. So when I go to the, oh, this thing's taking so long to open up my C drive. Hello, computer. Oh, whatever. The server is running. So all you have to do, after you have the new Prozac.dat in place, you can just reboot the server, or the easiest way of doing it is just to relaunch the map. So if you just change the map, you can see right here, it might be a little small, but it's going to find Prozac.dat. And that is the name of the compiled mod. And so if you just change the map, it reloads it. And that is the step. Okay. Quake. I mean, Windows, say what you want about Windows, but changing folders should not be something that takes a long time. Okay, so local client number 2. The reason why you see local client 1 and local client 2 here is because they're actually designed to be run split screened. So when I'm testing multiplayer, I have I've got a triple monitor set up here, but I'll have one here or I'll have 2 on the same monitor, and I can just like alt tab one and the other. Okay, so I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to test to see if the rocket is now faster. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. Okay, so that's a mod. Okay, so the that water's almost completely transparent, but it's bouncy. Look at that. This is one of my favorite things. My daughter loves this, by the way. It's called Jello water. It was a bug where I was implementing the Scuba Commando, which is something the Team Fortress people mentioned in their original readme file. So in Team Fortress 1.0, which came out in the fall of 1996, I want to say. yeah, like October '96, something like that. The original README file for Team Fortress said coming soon, Scuba Commando, and they never made it because having a class that's only good in water is not very fun. Either you dominate everybody in water and you suck on land, or it's not good game design. But I thought it was a cool idea, and apparently it comes from Robin Walker's brother hiding out underwater on every map, shouting Scuba Commando, and shooting people underwater. And so I was like, all right, I'll just make the Scuba Commando then. And so what I did is I made an item that when you're in water, it adds a little bit of buoyancy so that you don't sink in the water. But I turned up the buoyancy too high. So I made it so that this happened. So if you had this scuba gear, it would just fling you out of water. And it was really fun. And so this was a bug that became a feature, like in a Bethesda game. So basically, I actually just left it in as a server option, where you can turn it on or you can turn it off, however you want, because it's freaking hilarious. Servers can turn on, and it changes the map, like on a map where there's like a bridge across water, like people can just jump off, bounce off the water, and trampoline to the other side. It's fun, and it changes the map a lot. So they should implement this in water parks. Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. So yeah, this is the process you'll do in every game. You have to find the source code, or you have to find some starting point. Like if it's a non-moddable game, like good luck, right? Like you have to find, like you guys probably aren't at the level where you're gonna like start hex editing, data files and things like that. So, you need to find a source code release like this. Look at how fast Windows is. This is amazing. It's great. It's amazing coding on Windows's part. The extremely difficult task of changing directories. Or maybe you're intelligent enough. I'm not gonna say no. But Minecraft's moddable, right? Team Fortress is moddable. If you're trying to talk about a non-moddable game, like I don't know, some Nintendo Smash, like Tears of the Kingdom. Like I would not recommend you guys mod Tears of the Kingdom, right? Because Nintendo gets really mad at people when they mod their stuff for some reason. It's not entirely clear to me why they would care that you have added the ability to play as Princess Zelda to a Mario to a Zelda game, but they get mad and they don't make it easy at all for you to mod their stuff. Nintendo, yeah, for a company that's like all like, oh, it's me, the Mario, and they're like, oh, family friendly. No, they hate like everybody. Like, if you try organizing like a Smash tournament, they will like come after you. You cannot do that. You cannot play the game that you've bought. Like what? Like I bought the game. I own the Switch. I own the game. I want to run a tournament. No, you can't do that. It's a copyright. Nintendo's the absolute worst. Great games, yeah, but they are just hostile, to people that give them money, which makes no sense to me as like a business model. But there you go. Whereas companies like id Software that makes games about demons and like chainsawing and ripping people in half, they're like, yeah, mod our stuff. Here's all the source code. Here's our engine code. Here's all the game code. Go ahead and make, whatever you want out of it. They're the most customer-friendly company in the world. And then Nintendo, which makes like Mario Sunshine, is just like, no, you're going to die if you... Okay. So, source code. Look at the speed of this. It's amazing. Okay. I already have it open here. All right. And so again, the process, you need to find the place where the change is going to be made. That's a whole process. That's a whole skill. You make the change. You hit save. You come into the source directory. This is on an M2 SSD, mind you. Like this is a Core i9 processor, 64 gigs of RAM, a very fast M2 SSD. It should not take this long to change directories. I'm just saying, Windows. And then you run the make, and now you update the map 12.6, and then go back into your client, It's going to reload the map, and 1,000 to 1,003. Yeah, and it's back to the normal speed again. You guys see that? Those are the steps. Okay, edit the source code, run make, reload the map, and then hop into the client and test it out. Those are the steps you're going to do over and over. All right. So somebody recreated Ocarina of Time entirely in Unreal Engine 5. Those people are going to get their pants sewed off by Nintendo, because Nintendo hates people. I don't know what it is. All right. Yeah, it's kind of like in music, like heavy metal guys that are like all death metal, moshing. They're like the nicest people. Like you're like in a mosh pit at a metal concert, and like somebody gets knocked over, all the people go, "Oh, stop!" And, like help the guy out. All right, let's go moshing again. Yeah. So. Whereas like at a Blink 182 concert, they'll just elbow you in the eye or something. I don't know. Can't explain it. Okay. So I've got on my I'm going to just leave this open. I'm not going to touch that because it took so freaking long to just change into the directory. So let's take a look at some of these mod proposals. So we've got McKinney here. So I've got McKinney's mod proposal up here. I want to make a mod for Quake, default game pick. I want to do shotgun jump. Okay. Player jumps, fires the weapon in the ground. It'll send the player higher up into the air. Okay, let's look at how to do this. Okay. So first of all, how do we move the player? That's one question. And the other question is, where is the shotgun code? And the other one is, do you want it to shotgun jump only if it's like close to the ground, like you're shooting it at your feet? Or do you want it to be able to just, every time you shoot the shotgun, there's a huge amount of recoil on it? So McKinney, which you're here, you can tell me. We can do this any way you want. So do you want it to only shotgun jump if you're like firing like right into the wall in front of you? Or just every time you could be in space and you shoot your shotgun and it's just got this huge kickback that, there's no right or wrong answer. Just tell me which one you want. Shooting at the ground. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you something that you might not like. This has been done already, and it's actually in the game already. Not on the shotgun though. So the good news is the code already exists for what you're trying to do. That's it. I quit. So there's a weapon called the Air Fist, and it literally works exactly the way that you described it. So did I just quit? Oh, dang it. It's going to take 5 minutes to change directories back into... Never change, Microsoft. Never change. All right. Let me show you the Air Fist. And I'm just going to back here. And so the Air Fist is not a shotgun. So what's nice is you can actually add this to the shotgun. And that'll be a mod because it's not exactly done for you. So if I switch over to the Scout, this weapon here is called the Air Fist. Okay? And so if I fire it when I'm just like, standing around, it pushes me back a little bit. You see that? I go back a little, right? But watch what happens if I shoot it at my feet while I jump with it, like a rocket jump. Pretty cool, right? It's a fun item. So, and so you can use this rocket jump, and it doesn't hurt you like the rocket launcher does. It also can be used to like knock projectiles away from you. So like somebody shoots a rocket at you, you hit it with the Air Fist, the rocket flips around and flies back at the person who shot it, and if the rocket kills them, you get the credit for the kill. So it sort of allows you to like take over projectiles near you, which is kind of fun. There's also the Scion, which is a 360 Air Fist kind of thing. So basically you're like Magneto, you're like this, and then all the projectiles coming at you just reflect back towards their owners, and that's kind of fun too. Yeah, like it is fun. And so if you're in midair, you can kind of use it to like fly a little bit, right? You're up here, and you just use it to like kind of cruise. Kind of cool. So, okay, so the thing we're looking for is called the Air Fist, and this is, again, a reason why you want to play a mod, so that you're aware of what's within it before you mod it. So any game you're going to mod, you need to play it extensively. So the Air Fist code is all found within airfist.qc, believe it or not. And inside of here, can air push, and there's a lot of code in here. Okay, but I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but just by pointing this at you, this should be enough for you to be able to get your mod project done. Because all you need to do is take the code here and add it to the code there in the shotgun. Okay? So, checking to see if you have ammo for it, if you're in water. This is gonna reflect everybody nearby. So within here somewhere, there is going to be code that will this is our current speed. If our speed is less than 250, okay. Velocity, okay. Air Fist upgrade makes it stronger. So if you have the Air Fist upgrade, then the thing pushes you even more. Where is the thing? Player Airgun 1. It might be what we're looking for. Make immune. So anytime you mess with the physics on the player, you have to call make immune, just so you know, McKinney. Because there's cheat detection. And so sometimes people can client hack to make their clients run faster or whatever. And so the server will detect that they're moving too fast and then kick them. And so if you're going to be doing something like this, it's going to boost them at high speed. Then you need to make them immune to cheat checking. I think that's probably what we're looking for there. So if you have something that you want to look for highlighted, Control-Shift-F, and you'll see that it copies and pastes it for you automatically. And then you can come over here. You can see here that it is calling player gun 1, which calls player gun 2, which calls player gun 3. I think no, there's no code actually attached to that, so that's not what we're looking for. Grunty, suppose I don't save. Okay. Let's go back into airfist.qc and let's see, where do we actually set our velocity? So temp velocity equals self velocity, self attack finish. Where do we set this? Where do we actually set our velocity? Oh, here it is. Okay. So before times recoil. So recoil is this. Okay. Here. Okay. So that's the code that you're looking for, McKinney. So remember how I said earlier that do you want the code only to really kick you if you're next to a wall? That's the code right there. And so up above, it's going to set a variable called near a wall. And you can see that up ahead here. It does a trace line. A trace line is like in Unreal Engine where you do a line trace through the world. And so it's doing a line trace 64 inches ahead. So if you're within 5 feet of a wall, it's going to hit a wall and then give you extra kickback. So if you shoot down at your feet, if you're within 5 feet of the ground, then it'll boost you really high. If not, you just get that little kickback that you were seeing there. So that's the code to check to see if you're near a wall. And if near a wall, then the recoil gets stronger based on how close you are to the wall. So if you're right up next to the wall, the trace fraction is 0. Basically, or very close to 0. And so then you're going to get 3 times 1 times the recoil. So you're going to get triple recall if you're right push up next to a wall. The further you are away from the wall, the less it pushes you away from the wall. But you still get a bonus boost for being near a wall. Even if you're 2.5 feet away from it, trace fraction is going to be 0.5. And so you're going to get 1.5 times boost off the thing. Actually, plus the original, so like 2.5 times. Yeah. So dig through airfist.qc, and then the shotgun code is found inside of weapons.qc here. And weapons.qc, if we search for shotgun, let's actually search for super shotgun. And these are all the places where super shotgun turns up. Looking through here, look through here. See if we can find. There it is. W fire super shotgun. Control Shift F. The equal sign is what you're looking for. The equal sign is where the function actually is. Everything else is calling it. This function is actually where the equal sign is where the function actually is. And this is where the code to fire the super shotgun is. Yep. Probably above it is a regular shotgun. Yep. So if you McKinney, are you going to have recoil on the regular single barrel shotgun, the double barreled shotgun, or both? Like, what are you going to add the rocket jump effect to? The single barrel or the double barrel? Or both? Both? More on the double barrel? Okay. So there's the code. All right, it's called W Fire Shotgun and W Fire Super Shotgun. And you can just take the code from the Air Fist and put it in there and see if you can get it to work. And if you have trouble with it, ask me for help. All right. So that is McKinney. Nail gun that they can't move. Just work on the Air Fist thing first, and then I'll help you with the rest later. The code to make somebody not move. Just so we have that on record, so you can look it up later. But try to just get this part first. Let's just search for can't move and see if that. Aha. Move people right now. Nope, that's it. There it is. Can't move. Well, okay. So that's how you stop somebody from moving. Okay. But there's actually right here is how you actually do it. So if you type, whoever the client is, like if you say like self.tf state or equal tf state can't move. So if you do this, can't move. If you do that, it'll stop them from moving. So if you just if you want to see how that's done, let's just undo every change here. Okay. So double click, TF state can't move, Control Shift F, and you'll see all the different places where they stop people from moving. And so, for example, here is how you can do it. That's clearing it. So that's enabling somebody to move again. So that's the thing you want to look for. There's demo code for how to freeze somebody in place so they can't move. There's demo code all over the place that will allow them to move again. Yep. And you can just click on any of these examples here and see, aha, here they're stopping you from moving. Stopping you from moving. If you can't move, oh, you can move again. Okay. So once you, yeah. So that's code to stop moving, code to re-enable motion again, etc., etc. It's all in there. All right. All right. So let's look at another proposal. If I had the knowledge to modify Quake, yeah, you're welcome. If I had the knowledge to modify Quake, the iconic first-person shooter game, I would alter the levels, add new weapons, and introduce new adversities. Yeah, I wouldn't do this. This is too ambitious. Alter any existing level. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. You can. You can't modify. I mean, do you have a Quake map editor? I mean, you can find them and you can like modify them, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't. So inside of the Quake directory. Oh Lord, this little maneuver is going to set us back 10 years. All right. Inside of the Fortress maps directory, you can see all the maps that the starter pack comes with. I can't even remember how many maps I give you guys. I've got probably like 1,000 Team Fortress maps on here, something like that. 910. Yeah, I've got 910 Team Fortress maps. That's a lot of maps, right? I don't even think I've played them all. I played probably most of them, honestly, but not all of them. And so sometimes inside of here, you will see a .int file. Let's see. see if I have any inside here. Right up here is an int file. So for example, if you wanted to modify BAM4, the entity file is actually held outside of the map, which makes it easy to modify. So you can right click on this and edit in Notepad like this, and you can change the location of different things. So these are XYZ coordinates, and you can change them, you know, but I wouldn't do that. You can, but I wouldn't. But that's just me. If you want to find a Quake map editor, which exists, you can open up the maps and move stuff around, stuff like that. Sure. But you're saying I'm going to do that and adding new weapons and introducing new adversities. I would not at all recommend that for a first semester game dev class at all. Like one of those three things, Randy, I would do. I would not do all three. Even introducing new adversities is a lot. Like just one is a lot. Like just one new monster is a lot. Yeah, this is highly ambitious. So extra level of difficulty, new enemies and weapons, fresh challenges, create more intense firefights, mod make the game more enjoyable, adding more difficulty players. Yeah, so it sounds like you think this is a single player game. It can be. Like you can actually play like the original Quake for sure. Single player and even custom Team Fortress. For years we supported the ability to play it single player through the single player maps and things like that. I doubt that it works anymore. Just because that code hasn't been tested in 10 years or 20 years, you know, like it might work. But overall, this is a multiplayer game, right? And so I think if I had to redo this, Randy, I would just either pick one of these two things. Either altering an existing level and making it different somehow, which is going to be, you know, a thing. Like just one level itself is probably going to be a couple hours of work, right? Or maybe just add like a couple new weapons, like 2. And I wouldn't make a new weapon. I would take an existing weapon and change it, right? So that you don't like when you play the game. Should have done a refresh playthrough on Minecraft. You've played before; it's a long time, yeah. Yeah, you gotta know what's in the game so you do it. So you can see that there is like menu after menu of items you can buy, like a double-barreled shotgun and a single-barreled shotgun and a grenade set and a thunderbolt. So you know what I did, what my mod was taking Team Fortress, which had 8 classes or whatever in it, 9 classes in it, and adding the ability to make your own class. And you do so by giving them a budget of $10,000. And then each thing that you buy, grenades, for example, are 2,200. You can buy more speed. You can buy more health and armor, things like that. Counter-Strike kind of, you know, copied me. Deliberately or not, I don't know. Gooseman did play Quake, so Team Fortress even. I offered to help him on Counter-Strike, but he said that he got it, so yeah, he did, as it turns out, have it. So yeah, this menu-based thing is what I added to Quake, and so rather than modifying the menus and like coming up with a new, you know, a new thing which would involve changing things in a couple different. It's not that hard, but what I would do is just be like, okay, I'm going to take the laser cannon. And I'm just going to strip out all the code from it and turn it into a weapon that shoots a laser beam that reflects off walls or something like that. That would be a good mod. Just that is enough. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So I would resubmit this, Randy. Just I'm trying to help you out here. Just scope it down. Scope it down a lot. And then the third student who's remixing Quake, beginner friendly mod revitalizes Quake by flesh blended student. You move at a faster pace. The increased speed makes the movement feel more dynamic and action packed. Enemies hit harder and are more aggressive. Again, this is assuming that we have a single player game here. Custom Team Fortress is really a multiplayer team shooter. class-based team shooter is the iconic Team Fortress experience, not enemies. Balance and uniqueness. Increased fire rate, tighter spread. That's simple, no problem. Enhanced damage, faster projectile speed. Literally, actually, one of the changes that I made to the nail gun was to boost the speed on it, because the nails traveled so slow that people could just walk around them almost. I actually ran into a limit in the architecture of the game engine. The game engine actually had a projectile speed limit that I was running into, and so the projectiles, when you try to make them go faster, would travel at like these weird angles because like the game was actually capping their speed. I've upped the limit. It might already be at the cap, but I don't think so. So yeah, that's a simple thing. Like we saw for the rocket launcher code, it's just one number. You got to find that number, but when you find that number, you just up it, and now the nails travel faster. Reduce splash damage. Yeah, that's pretty easy too. So if we go back into it's on QC, and we go over to, what's it called? Fire rocket. What happened here? Why is that? Okay. There we go. Fire rocket. Make rocket, sorry. When it hits something, key missile touch. There's actually different rockets, right? So if you want to tighten the spread, you're going to have to tighten the spread on all the different kinds of rockets if that's your design goal. So Control-Shift-F, key missile touch. Look for the equal sign. There it is. That's the function that gets called when the rocket touches something, right? This is just like in Unreal Engine. Your primary tools are all the same. Even though this code dates back to the mid-90s, it's the same basic principles for everything. You do trace lines. When you touch something on hit, right, you explode for a rocket. You know, when the rocket touches something, it blows up. Unless it touches the sky. If it touches the sky, it just vanishes. Delete self. That's it. Yep. And so if you want to tighten up the radius, there's a function called radius damage. And the radius is actually equal to the amount of damage you're doing. So for every point of damage you do, the radius gets 1 inch bigger. And so you could probably just reduce the damage, the radial damage. The impact damage is here. That's the actual impact damage if you hit them with it. So you might want to up that and then lower the radius damage, which is that. And then that'll make for a tighter rocket launcher. Yeah, that's all. This is pretty easy. Okay, and then you're gonna like up the speed of the players and stuff like that. So the speed can be found. Remember, inside of the game, you can just look around. You can see, oh, we've got cheetah, cougar, white rhino, scrub jay. Okay, so let's look for scrub jay. One of the tricks to doing this kind of searching thing is to search for terms that don't show up very often. If I tried searching for speed, watch what I get. I got 921 results. This is not helpful. You know, like which one is the speed of the player? I don't even know, right? But if I search for scrub jay, well, that's a pretty unique name, right? And so what I'm always looking for when I'm modding is like something like that is not going to show up in 920, places. I'm going to find it in like 2 places. Option number 4, scrub jay, and right here, boom, that's where the speeds are. That's how easy it is to mod if you've got the searching skills, right? The hard thing in modding is finding the place where those numbers are. And if you can find it, that's all you got to do. So we can just up all these numbers. We can add 100 to the speed of every leg, something like that. You know what I mean? So like if that's the mod that you want to make, just add to the speed of all the different options. And now everybody's running faster. There you go. Easy. Okay. So like, let me let me change this to 4,000. I'm going to make the top speed leg 10 times faster. This is going to run up to an engine limit, mind you. This is not going to actually let you go 10 times faster. It's probably going to cap way, way below that. But it'll be funny, and that's what's important, right? And then you can scale that down and find what the maximum speed actually is in the engine. And then if you really wanted to get into it, you could edit the engine and up the maximum player speed, which I have actually done that as well, because I think it's really fun to have very fast combat. One of the things that really irks me about modern first-person shooters, it's actually one of the reasons why I've stopped playing first-person shooters. It's like I'm playing Halo, and like Master Chief is supposed to be the pinnacle of humanity, and he's like on, like a asthmatic kid, like he's like running at like 2 miles an hour. And then if you get the special sprint power up, you can sprint. And now this pinnacle of humanity can run at full speed for about 3 seconds. And he's like, I'm like, how, like in the military, people jog for miles, and like in Call of Duty and Halo, like the people are literally sprinting at like 2 miles an hour, like, and then you just get shot because you can't move very fast. In Quake, you move way, way faster than you do. Let me just show you before I mod it. Let me just show you what the top speed is, like by default, even before we multiplied the speed by an order of magnitude. Can you imagine Halo with people walking this fast? You know what I mean? Can you imagine Call of Duty where people can actually run at a high speed? Be wild. And the reason why they don't do it is because their networking code can't handle it, right? Their networking code sucks, and their client prediction sucks, and they just don't have, as far as I can tell, engineers capable of allowing people to actually run at high speed. Also, people are using controllers which have a hard time targeting. Some people have like little thumbsticks. They don't have the ability to track moving targets very well. So they just make everybody, just run at like glacially slow speeds, right? Whereas this is ancient technology, right? Like this is technology from the 90s. And yet somehow this game is playable with people moving this fast on dial-up modems. I mean, it wasn't great. If you had a cable modem or something, like the experience is a lot better. But that's how fast you can move just out of the box, before mods and stuff. So let's compile it. Good, compiled fine. Again, we are going to come over to the server and we will launch map. Well, 6, why not? And now, with the cheetah having been increased by 10 times, let's see how fast this is. Get hover boots. Hover boots, the idea I stole from Zelda 64, in case you're wondering. And there are people that can actually move this fast in the game, like without this mod, because there's bunny jumping in Quake, where if you walk forward and strafe at the same time, you actually go faster than if you walk straight, because walking straight plus walking sideways gives you the Pythagorean theorem, right? Because they add together. So what people do is they'll turn at an angle and run both forwards and strafe left at the same time to get more speed. And then on top of that, they start bunny hopping. When you bunny hop, you keep jumping. Every time you touch the ground, you jump, you jump, you jump. And then friction doesn't get a chance to slow you down. And so they'll do things like have the air fist that will kick them forward, and then they bunny hop so they don't lose speed. And they can actually generate enough speed that they're actually moving this fast. Like just all the time. And it's a thing, So again, imagine, Halo where people are traveling this fast, right? Like it's just not. It's honestly, it's like why I don't play modern first-person shooters. It literally, after playing Quake, like it just feels like I am walking through mud every time I play a first-person shooter these days. It is crazy. It is crazy fast. Yeah, and so if that's what you want to do, that's where you edit it. Okay. Don't worry about the enemies. Like I said, adding a new monster is hard. So I wouldn't do that. The only monsters you're going to see in custom TF are from one of the guys called a warlock. Warlocks have to kill people with a knife, and then using the blood, they summon monsters. The more people they kill with a knife, the more powerful the monsters they can summon. That's about the only place you're going to see enemies inside of Custom Team Fortress, and it's fairly niche because it's niche. It's hard to melee people, you know. So, I would take that out. Okay, but making the speed change, that's an easy change, as you saw, and then changing these things are all pretty simple too. Reloading time on the railgun, yeah, I can show you how to do that. So search for railgun, right? Railgun. Engineer's railgun. Let's just search for that. Control Shift F. And there, and where are we? Oh, that's the view model. Okay, that's not the one we're looking for. Weapon railgun, Control Shift F. It's like a scavenger hunt, like I said. Like you find one thing, then you're, oh, that's the view model. Okay, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. All right, cool. And then you're like, all right, that's where you buy it. That's the weapon. That's what you start with. Self weapon there. It's like look at things, return. There. So the name of the function to shoot the railgun is fire laser, which is a terrible name for a function. So is that it? Is that the only place where it appears? Fire laser? There we go. There, look for that equal sign. Okay. And it's creating a spike. It's a nail gun weapon. And laser bolt touch is when it hits something. What we're going to do with it, amped up and faster reloading time. Okay. So fire laser. That's where we're firing it right here. So that is the, right there. Boom. 0.4 seconds. When you fire the railgun, you have to wait 0.4 seconds before you can fire again. If you wanted to fire faster, lower that number. If you wanted to fire slower, increase that number. That's your firing cooldown. Okay? So change 0.04 to 0.1. It's going to fire 4 times faster. 10 times a second. All right? And then if you want the railgun to, what was the other thing you wanted? Amped up damage. Okay. Amped up damage. That would be under here. So it's going to create a railgun. Yeah, this is a stupid name for a function. Okay. When it hits something, it's going to call laser bolt touch, which is, again, a stupid name because it's railgun touch, honestly. So I highlight laser bolt touch. Where is it? Let's find out. Control Shift F. And here we go. Okay, so when it touches something, how much damage does it do? TF damage 25. There it is. Okay. So the railgun does 25 damage. This is not a lot. This is not Quake Arena where the railgun does like 80 or 100 damage or something like that. It does 25. But you're firing, more than twice a second, so it's not terrible. And if you increase it to like 10 times a second, that's 250 DPS, which is pretty darn good. So if you want to amp the damage and amp the firing rate, you're going to make a ridiculously powerful weapon. So I would personally pick one or the other, but not both. I'd actually probably lower the firing rate. Like if you want to reward precision, because the high firing rate means you can just spray like that and just hit everybody, right? I would actually lower the firing rate and then increase the damage to like 250, right? But you can only fire it once every 3 seconds, like the Quake 3 railgun. Takes out a person if you hit him. And then you have a long reload before you can fire again. It's like a sniper rifle now. Okay. Bunny hopping works well when you're hitting your head every time you jump. Yeah. And you can just sit there and you hop. And there's actually code in the undo everything. There's actually code that allows you to pre-jump, so you don't have to be frame perfect with your bunny jumps. If you actually hit jump prior to contacting the floor, it'll register the jump, and then the second you touch it, you immediately come back up off the ground. And that allows you to have minimal time spent in contact with the ground, meaning you don't slow down. So you just keep air fisting yourself and accumulating velocity and accumulating velocity and accumulating velocity. You only slow down when you are actually on the ground. And so you just keep jumping and boosting behind you, and you can actually, even without any mods, you can actually accelerate up to that speed that I showed you before and fly through the level. It's a lot of fun. It's frustrating for the other people to hit you, but it's a lot of fun when you're doing it. And that, my friends, is, I think, our lecture on modding Quake. I think I've shown you guys basically everything you need to know to get your mods done. For those of you that haven't submitted a mod yet, a mod idea yet, that should hopefully give you some ideas. Okay. So that's our class for today. And your homework is just going to be, I don't know, a couple multiple choice questions on what I just talked about right there. Peace. Not peace. War.